well, we can officially say, I think with some confidence, that the coronavirus surge or the second wave has very much arrived in the United States, particularly in the so-called red states, politically conservative Republican states that opened up very quickly and perhaps too soon. So across the United States this week alone, there was 333,000 new cases. 130,000 have now died. As you're saying, we're seeing it, across the South Carolina spiking, Arizona spiking, as you mentioned, Florida, where at first they opened the beaches for the spring breaks, they had 11,400 new cases just on Saturday alone. Now, in Texas, same thing. They opened up very quickly, and now they're being belted by the virus. In Houston, they've virtually run out of hospital beds. It's getting that dire. The system is being overwhelmed. But we are learning something new with this new wave, with this surge. A lot of the patients who are getting infected are now younger and healthier. So a lot of that is these young kids going out and flouting the rules and going to beaches and going to parties and pubs and getting the virus and then spreading it to their friends. But what we're also finding is after the horror show that was New York, where tens of thousands died, America is now getting much better at keeping coronavirus patients alive. So people who perhaps would have had coronavirus 3 months ago would have ended up on a ventilator and never come off it. They're now working desperately with new drugs and new techniques to keep them off those ventilators. So a lot more numbers. We've learned a lot, but the disease is still definitely one step ahead of us. And I can tell you now, for an American president like President Trump, who says that 99% of these cases are totally harmless, at his next political rally in New Hampshire, if you want to attend his rally, you have to sign a COVID-19 waiver so that if you catch the virus at his rally, you can't sue him or his campaign.
Wow. Well, just on Donald Trump, his Mount Rushmore rally marks a sharper, perhaps darker turn to ultra-right wing of his bases.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Friday, we saw the president give a speech at a rally at Mount Rushmore, and then on Saturday at the White House, a traditional 4th of July address. Let's not forget, this is America's greatest holiday. It's the Independence Day, and ironically, everyone's independence is being restricted by this pandemic. Now, in these speeches, he took his political rhetoric to a new level. And I think he's starting to show his hand about how he's going to try to run for re-election in 4 months. Now, what he said is that he is going to prevent the American carnage that will be unleashed upon the country by what he calls these new left or these far left fascists. He said that these people are just wild mobs who want to end America. They want to erase our history and they want to indoctrinate our children. And he says that's not going to happen on my watch. Now, why do we think he's taken this tack? Why do we think he's gone so far to the right? Well, it's the poll numbers. It's the poll numbers. In a major, one of the most trusted polls, national polls in the last few days, our Democratic candidate, former Vice President Joe Biden, is leading 53% to 41%. In key swing states, Biden has a single-digit or even double-digit lead in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Florida, and in Pennsylvania. all states that President Trump needs. And you're seeing across the board in polling, Biden is the preferred candidate by almost every demographic, from blacks to Hispanics to suburban women. The one core constituency that still backs him to the hilt, and this might give you some illumination as to his new rhetoric or enhanced rhetoric, white men without college degrees. That's the only part of the electorate where he holds a lead, mate.
Hey, just 10 seconds, Michael. Kanye West, is this all a publicity stunt or what?
I don't know if it's a publicity stunt. I think in Kanye's head and in Kanye's world, it's real. It's certainly not in anyone else's world. Well, it's a piece of nonsense. He can't even get on the ballot. I mean, please.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Yeah, it's too late, right? So I'm not buying it. We're smart guys, you and I, Michael.
It's utter nonsense. I mean, it's... Yeah. You know, it's the silly season. Yeah. It's the electoral silly season, and there's no one sillier than Kanye West.
Okay.